Yo, you guys, what is good, man? Welcome back to Real United Talk, where we talk about all matters Real Madrid and Man United. This is going to be a United Matters episode, and as you can see, I'm joined by someone today, ElPablo from United Talks podcast. ElPablo, thank you for being here today.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me. It's been an honor. I've been seeing your content online, and I see that you're making strides and talking Real Madrid and Man United. So, looking forward to a good conversation.
I really appreciate that, man. I really appreciate it. And some of you might be joining from his channel because we also made an episode there. And some of you may just be my regular subscriber. So if you're just my regular subscriber, go check out his channel, Real United Talks podcast. But with that, let's just get into the episode. So today, we're going to be talking about the hot talking points right now in Manchester. Ruben Amorim.
Oh, my days.
And as you can see, we're already tired. We're already tired.
Yeah, bro.
Because it is.
It's tiring because we as Man United fans don't help ourselves. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like, Amorim hasn't even settled. He's already gone. You know, I've seen like big content creators put out stuff, and you're like, "What are you guys talking about?" Like, you did the same thing. I recorded a video yesterday, and I was talking about the Amorim situation. We've done this. David Moyes, 8 months and on the job, gone. The next person that came on, Van Gaal, good manager with experience, third position in the World Cup, and after winning the FA Cup, gone. Mourinho, he came, did the best he could, got us to win I think we finished 7th that year, won Europa League, won Carabao Cup, and then the Community Shield. The next season, got to third, the third season, gone. Next person comes, and that is, I think we had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer temporarily. That's number 4, right? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer temporarily, and then eventually full-time. Got us to second and third. Got Ronaldo and Sancho, gone. The next person comes, Ragnick, does 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. I checked his record. His record isn't actually that bad, but he said, "Oh, we need an open heart surgery." Gone. Next one comes, and then we're struggling. Ten Hag does 1-2, 1-2, changes formation, changes style of play. We'll still talk more about this, but next gone. Now we have Amorim. He's barely been here 9 months. Everybody's saying Amorim out.
And I can't lie to you, I'm one of those people. And we're going to get into it, so I don't want to spoil too much of it right now, but I just feel like you mentioned all these managers, right? Like you mentioned your David Moyes, you mentioned your Louis van Gaal.
Yeah.
Everybody, as much as they had their positives, they had their negatives. Like a manager like David Moyes, obviously we saw what he did at Everton before he joined United, but he just wasn't ambitious enough. Like, you know, he had a small club mentality, and he brought that to Man United. Like, you know, we're very pragmatic. We're not the team that we once were. Obviously, like, no manager was going to come and did the job that Ferguson did. But we all know we're not the team that we once were. The football was boring. He didn't get a lot of the signings that he wanted. I think that season he only got like
Fellaini and Mata at one point.
Mata at some point. It's just so obviously like there were problems there, but at the same time, like we could just tell that he just wasn't like what we needed. Like, you know, he just didn't have that mentality. And then you now look at a manager like Louis van Gaal, all these other managers, like as much as they had their positives, they had their negatives, but they did have that positive. But I'm looking at Amorim, and I can't see any positives. I can't see anything that tells me this is the man for the future.
Why so? Like, why do you feel like he cannot deliver the future to us as a club?
I feel like with Amorim, I think he's too stuck on, and a lot of people say this. A lot of people say the formation, right? I'm not going to say it's the formation. A lot of people have used this formation to succeed. Crystal Palace right now are using this formation.
Oliver Glasner, yes.
Chelsea under Conte used this formation and are succeeding. Tuchel used this formation.
Tuchel has used it multiple times. I even said this guy Jurgen Klopp used it at Dortmund, but nobody saw it. That's one. Another person that's using it, that used it to thrive, I think for 12 or 13 games last season, is currently still using it, but because his club has been ripped apart, basically, they took like 2 of his best players is Vitor Pereira at Wolves, where we signed Cunha from. Cunha played this formation as the left 10. For 12, 13 games, he was playing that formation. So he knows the system, right? So to now come and say, no, outrightly in the Premier League, the system doesn't work. I'm like, are you? Now, somebody did an analysis, very intelligent analysis yesterday. I saw it on TikTok. The guy said the reason why Chelsea under Conte succeeded with that formation is because of two players, Matic and N'Golo Kante.
Yeah.
I can understand that, but we don't have a Matic and an N'Golo Kante in this team.
Facts.
But if as we don't have a Matic and N'Golo Kante, what do? We make do with what we have. Now we're trying to make do with what we have, and it's not working, and they're saying no. In fact, let me tell you one thing I've noticed. Man United fans are good with scapegoats. We have this scapegoat mentality culture at the club. The moment something happens, we look for who to blame. The first one, the number one person that we've blamed that has been, I looked at his stats and I did player profile the other day and I was like, this guy is just too good. Bruno Fernandes. 6 years at the club, has been putting in nothing less than 7.5 rating, according to Fort Mob. Nothing less than 7.5 rating all year. He has scored nothing less than 10 goals per season. Nothing less. He's the one that is at fault. He's the reason why we're losing. In fact, there's this guy on his content creator on YouTube that says Bruno is a stats merchant. He's a fraud. He says Bruno is a there's something he calls him net negative. Never heard of that before. Last year, I heard about net negative. The same Bruno we're talking about is being blamed for the. In fact, I saw a big content creator on TikTok said Bruno was the reason why we lost that game why we drew that game against Fulham and why we lost against Arsenal. I'm like, then you say, okay, well, we need to bring Mainoo to the starting lineup. We need to start Mainoo. I'm like, okay, cool. Mainoo starts against Grimsby Town and we're 2-0 down. Then Bruno comes into that same Grimsby Town game and we're 2-2. So is Bruno the problem? That's the thing. We have a scapegoat mentality. We blame Bruno. We blame the Gate. We blame Casemiro. Casemiro was one of for last season. We blame Casemiro. We've blamed, in fact, they've blamed Dogu. They've blamed Dogu. They've blamed Rashford. They've blamed Anthony. They've blamed, who else have they? Rasmus. They've blamed Rasmus Højlund.
They blamed Ronaldo.
They've blamed Ronaldo. They've blamed Onana. They are even blaming Bayender. In fact, towards the game, that last game against
I can't lie, Onana's zone is valid though. Onana's zone is valid. See,
like I'm feeling goosebumps because of all the blaming. Like they've blamed everybody. I went ahead to blame Ronaldo, and I know why I blamed Ronaldo. Ronaldo is a legend at the club. You can't take that away. But the Ronaldo situation involves you disrespecting the club, going out and talking. But it's his talk that led to
helped us
the innovation of Carrington right now.
Exactly.
You can talk about it, but there are ways, and there's a way you go about it. You don't go to a rival fan like Piers Morgan to go and talk about it, but that's a story for another day. But we have this scapegoat mentality at the club that has been, I never knew about this until one day I started thinking about it, and like we're blaming everybody for everything. Even somebody brought it up and said, we also blamed Pogba. And I said, yes, we blamed Pogba.
Pogba was the original scapegoat. One
time, and that I feel guilty about this. Maybe if you check on X, you might see it. Maybe historically in one of my old accounts. Pogba had a I've never seen of all the stinkers I've watched in football for Man United. Pogba had the most. He stunk the place out. Like he had a stinker against Tottenham that it was so bad. If you remember that game, I think with that under Mourinho,
you don't know we lost 6-1.
No. Under Mourinho, I think we lost 3-2 or 3-1 or something. Pogba was so, I think he just came out from an injury or so. I still remember that game very well. Pogba was so bad that he couldn't even string like 5-6 passes at the same time. I went on X. I was so annoyed. I just posted, Pogba, get out of my club. The first and only time I've ever done it. Right? It was frustrating, but in truth, I now look back and I'm like, maybe I was scapegoating. Pogba had a bad season, in fact, he had a barrage of injuries that season, just came back and had a bad game. And people have bad days at the office. Other fans might call me mediocre for thinking like that, but we have always blamed everybody. And now we are about to go through a cycle of managers. And I can understand from your perspective, because I've listened to other content creators say something like, oh, how can you be trying something and it's not working? But we called for it. Under Ten Hag, we're saying, how can we bring a manager that will not stick to his principle? Now we brought a manager that sticks to his principle. Say, how can we bring a manager that is married to his principle?
Okay, but that's the thing, yeah. With this system that he has, with this formation, I was one of the people that felt like Amorim actually needed to stick to his principles and die by his principles. Okay. But right now, we're at the hill and he needs to jump. It's over. And the reason why I say that, is because, like, I'm not saying that Amorim should change his formation. I'm not saying that Amorim should change who he is. He has already come out to the media and said that, you change the man, not the system and everything. Exactly. He has said all these things. So I know that he's stuck on his principles. And with Ten Hag was not stuck enough on his principles. And I said that as well, because with Ten Hag, he came in, everybody knew the player that he wanted in DM. Everybody knew he wanted De Jong in DM. He came in, hadn't gotten a midfielder yet, played against Brentford, against Brighton.
Is it not ironic that it's the same thing that's happened to Amorim now? He needs a midfielder and he hasn't gotten the midfielder he needs. So it's
But that's the thing. I don't think that a midfielder solves... I don't think just going out and getting But I think that if you had gotten Baleba, I don't think that he solves it. You know what I think would have happened if you had gotten Baleba? I think that Baleba would have come, he would have been overwhelmed, just as every single player right now that plays in that midfield would have been overwhelmed and would have thought, when can I spend money on 100 million flop? He only had one proper season at Brighton, or is it two? And then now when can I spend 100 million on him and now he's flopping? I don't think that anybody can do what we need to do. This, like I said, it's not the system necessarily. I think it's the tactics. I think it's the way we go about it in games. And we are so easy to read right now. Marco Silva said it after the Fulham game. He said that it wasn't hard to crack the case. Iwobi said the exact same thing. You just have to put someone in midfield and he's good to go. And every single team approaches.
Just to quote what both Iwobi and Marco Silva said, you have to put someone between the defensive midfielder and the defender. That space, called the half space between. Now, during preseason, if you watch maybe some of my reviews in preseason, when I talked about the review for, I think, West Ham and for, where did they score? Everton and Bournemouth. Now, I talked about the half space and that space between the guy in centre back and the guy at the right or left of centre back. Jarrod Bowen scored us a goal from the left side. The Everton goal, one of the Everton goals came from the Euro side. So it's between Euro and De Ligt, or between De Ligt and Shaw. There's that space there. Once you find yourself in that space, you score.
It's good.
The goal in the Champions League final the Europa League final was from there. The two goals that Burnley scored came from around there, just running across through that space. The goal that Fulham scored us, Emil Smith Rowe, was from there. What about the goal that Haaland scored? From there.
Disgusting goal.
The first goal Haaland scored, right? So now, what about the goal that Foden scored? It was Doku going through from that left side and crossing the ball to the middle, because this guy has shifted to Mark Haaland. The Ligt has shifted to Mark Haaland, and Euro was supposed to go there, but Euro is also wondering about the next person on his left side, and that was why we were in tatters in that middle, and then Foden got a free header and scored. So those are the things. If we didn't concede those goals, maybe we'll be saying a different story, and maybe what the story will now be is we're not scoring. So these are the challenges. I'm not saying the midfielder will solve that, because even the Baleba we're talking about is having a bad start to a season. The goal that Cameroon scored and conceded in the qualifiers, it was Baleba that lost the ball in the middle of the park, and they countered on Cameroon and scored them. What I'm talking about, Brighton have not had an amazing start. I think they've lost 2 games. They've drawn 1, they've won 1. Or they've lost 2 games and won 2 games. But they've not really had an amazing start. So a midfielder might not be able to solve the problem. And then one thing I realized, I listened to somebody on TikTok, and the guy said something, and I sat back and thought about it. He talked about systems, philosophies, and formations. But he said he was only talking about systems and formations. But I do a lot of analysis on Ruben Amorim's press conference, and I said this on my channel, and I said, Ruben Amorim said, I'm not changing my philosophy. He didn't say, I'm not changing my formation. He didn't say, I'm not changing my... He said, I'm not changing my philosophy. Meanwhile, the journalist asked him about the system. He said, I'm not changing my philosophy. Which brings me to my understanding of coaching, basically. I've done coaching badges in Canada, so I kind of understand a bit of the 4 pillars of coaching. Defense, attack, with the ball and without the ball. So in possession and out of possession. But what I understand, basically, from what Ruben Amorim says, that there's a system, there's a formation, and there's a philosophy. Now, the system is how the team plays within the formation.
Yeah.
One guy from The Sun analyzed it, but he started very well and then destroyed his analysis. He said a formation is like placing cones around the field. Perfect. Formation is like the place where each player is. Now, the system is what goes on within that formation. That is, what happens in possession, what happens out of possession, what happens when you're with the ball, and when you are attacking and when you're defending. These are the things. Now, with the ball, where are the players supposed to be within that formation, right? Without the ball, where are the players supposed to be? You remember Amorim's first press conference, he said, Man United players don't run back enough because he saw that was a problem within the formation. Then he said also, when you're attacking, where are the players? Are they doing third man runs? Are they doing overlapping, underlapping? Are they running on a straight line? Are they running vertical and horizontal or whatever? Then when you are defending, where are the players going to be? Is it going to be, is the shape changing to a 3-5-2? Is it changing to a 5-3-2? Is it changing to a 5-4-1? Where are the players? So that is then the philosophy is how the team plays overall. Yeah. And he says, I am not changing that. But you know what the media will face? His 2 midfielders.
Yeah.
And in truth, I fault him for that because obviously we didn't give him that defensive midfielder that will make other players thrive. For Bruno to thrive in this formation, he needs a defensive midfielder that's a screener that has legs.
Yeah.
That thing was supposed to be that, but it's not working. Casemiro was supposed to be that, but Casemiro is
older.
Old. Then people are now saying, oh, why is he not playing Mainoo? Why should Mainoo be struggling with Bruno?
Mainoo doesn't have legs.
Thank you. Now, Troy Deeney said something. He said, I've made an analysis online and stuff. Troy Deeney said, if you are to put your money on who will play, who you will have in your team, or who is the better trainer, who would your better trainer be? Bruno or Mainoo? The guy, Alex Cook, couldn't answer. But the truth is, it's actually Bruno, because Bruno will run for you.
Yeah.
Right? Now, to help, it's not about bringing all the problems and the excuses. This is my solution. Speaking of Amorim and all, we have good players who can control the ball, right? Yeah. We can put either Casemiro or Ugarte as your 2 screeners. They are your midfielders. One can go on for the other. Then he planned Bruno and Mainoo, right? Okay, why don't you, now that Cunha is injured, make sure that Mainoo plays as your number 8, right? With a defensive screener, maybe Ugarte because he has legs. Because the one time he tried it, it worked, and that was against Bournemouth. That day, Cunha was on the bench. Bruno was as the left 10. That's fine. Now you put Bruno as your left 10, but make Bruno to be your midfield overloader. That's the guy that comes back to the midfield to overload the midfield when we are overloaded. So when they are out running Casemiro and Mainoo, you come back and add the numbers like what Man City did. That's what Marco Silva said. We noticed that they had one midfielder less, so we overloaded the midfield. Yeah. You put Cunha, you put Mbeumo, they are going to bump forward. There's a big gap between them.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the problem. But if you put one of either Mbeumo with Bruno and one of either Cunha with Bruno, at least Bruno drops back into the midfield to help win the ball and then sprays his passes.
But what about the left side?
That's what I'm saying. One of either. Like you put Mbeumo on right, you put Bruno on the left. You put Cunha on the left, you put Bruno on the right. One of either. But
I'm saying that like if that happens where Bruno starts and then it's, like let's say like Bruno and Mbeumo, if Mbeumo does drop deeper to add that third man to the midfield, what happens to the left side?
That's like if Mbumo drops
it's going to be free, because like they're not going to have. It means that they can only attack from the right hand side because Bruno has dropped deep.
Yeah, but that's where the wing back takes the overlapping run. That is what Dogu does a lot. That people are still giving him pelters for. When somebody drops in the mid, Dogu creates that width. So once we get the ball, we swing it to him.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Because if Bruno drops and helps not just the midfield but the defense as well. He adds the numbers. So this is me like consistently trying so hard to read Amorim's system. But people are very quick to take a screenshot and analyze the screenshot. Oh, there's space here, there's space there. There might have been an attack and then we lost the ball and then there's space. It happens. During Ten Hag, what did they give Ten Hag pelters for? Oh, that there's too much space in him. I remember that analysis by Jamie Carragher. Oh, there's a huge circle, big space here. There are so many teams. Real Madrid had that yesterday.
Yeah, we have that all the time.
Exactly. I follow Real Madrid, so I know. Okay, PSG had that a lot in the Club World Cup. When they were smoked by Chelsea, it was those spaces we're talking about. What does PSG play? 4-3-3. And their wing backs fly like crazy, which leaves their right and left centre backs bare when they are defending. Because Vitinha is not your defensive midfielder. He's a deep line playmaker like Mainoo. So it's crazy. When I think about it, I've analyzed it multiple times, and I'm not trying to make an excuse for Amorim. But one thing I'm not going to say is that Amorim is at fault for everything. Everybody, it's a collective effort.
Yeah.
Because you can't come and tell me we are playing against Grimsby Town and players are losing to Grimsby Town. Is it Amorim that will go on the field to play? You tell them what
don't do that. See, every time people say that, that is where I have a problem.
Okay,
I've never heard anybody, like, I've had so many debates in my life about football. I've had so many debates about managers, whether it's Man U or any other team.
Yeah.
In all those debates and all those arguments, I've never heard anybody say that the manager is supposed to go on the pitch and do it for the players. I've never heard anybody say that.
No, I'm not saying.
The only time I'm hearing that is for Amorim, and I don't like that, because that's basically very, very, very defensive of Amorim. That's basically you saying that, like, oh, it's the players and everything, and like, you know, the Grimsby game, the players have done that thing to win that game.
It's an overarching issue.
It definitely is. It definitely is. But
my question to you before you go on with your analysis is, what could Amorim have done differently at that Grimsby Town game? What
I will tell you is that with Grimsby, what they kind of did is basically what everybody has been doing to us, overloading the midfield. Now, you've mentioned this whole thing about Bruno maybe playing calm, putting Mainoo and Ugarte. Mainoo started that game next to Bruno. Or was it next to Bruno?
No, started next to Ugarte.
Yeah, Bruno
started next to Ugarte, but the first goal that was considered was a mistake from Ahmad as right wing back. We had Sesko, Cunha, and Mbumo starting up top. Ahmad as wing back, Dogo as left wing back.
Yeah.
Then defense, we had Tyler Fredrickson, we had Harry Maguire, and we had Aiden Heaven in defense. In midfield, we had Mainoo and Ugarte, and it worked well against Bournemouth in preseason.
Yeah,
that we smashed Bournemouth 4-1 or 4-0.
Even the West Ham game as well.
Exactly. So when you think about it, what could Amorim have done differently in that game?
So what I think is that
we didn't have sorry about that. We didn't have Mbumo at the beginning. We had Ahmad. It was
we had Ahmad in calm. We had, I think it was Dalu
on right wing back. Yeah, go ahead.
Dalu on right wing back. Yeah. So what I think is that game came after the Fulham game, right?
Yeah.
We saw mistakes. We saw problems in that Fulham game. We obviously discussed the problems after the Fulham game. Like you have already told us now, one of the things that they said is the midfield and everything, that space and everything. I didn't see that problem being addressed in the Grimsby game. I think that's something that could have been addressed more. Obviously, it's just the game after and everything, not that much time. But I didn't see that problem get addressed the way it's supposed to get addressed. And then people talk about, like you said now, the players make mistakes and everything, all of that. My thing here is that two things. Number one, you're the person that puts these players there, right? Like, you know, let's just say an Ahmad in right. I know Ahmad did play right wing back in that game, but you're the person putting Ahmad in right wing back. You're the person putting Dalu in right wing back. these are not the preferred / better places in the team.
Where would you have put Dalot in that situation?
Honestly, for Dalot is one of those players that, like, he's in the team right now, so he has to play. When he does play, his best position is right wing back. But in general, Dalot does not fit as a wing back, and Dalot does not fit in a back three for
So he plays. He's better suited for a 4-4-2, right?
Is either playing in a back four or he's done just selling.
Okay. Now the reason why I like the fact that you brought this Dalot situation, because I remembered when Wan-Bissaka was playing. Everybody hated Wan-Bissaka
except for me.
We prefer Dalot. Dalot is better at crossing. Dalot is better at this. Dalot killed Højlund last year. Dalot killed Højlund last year. Wan-Bissaka, shock you. Wan-Bissaka is playing as a right wing back in a back 3 for Fulham, for West Ham. He had 2 goals last season and a couple of goal contributions. If I check stats now, I'll see it. He's playing as a right wing back. West Ham are playing with Jean-Claude Todibo, right centre back. They're playing a back 3 under Potter. And who is playing? Wan-Bissaka, right wing back. He was among the people that smoked us when Ten Hag lost his job.
Yeah.
Guys, like, now the Dalot that we're talking about now is the Dalot we're giving pelters. But everybody wanted him. Oh, anytime he comes, I won't lie to you, when Dalot came on, anytime he came on, he's always spamming crosses. Now, he doesn't spam any cross whatsoever. He wants to either break in to shoot or turn back. So, what could we have done? That's still back to that, my question. What could he have done at that Grimsby Town game that could have helped us to win the game emphatically?
I don't think that there's anything individually that obviously players could have done better to, like, win the game and everything. But what they're trying to do, they're trying to play to this manager system. They're trying to play his style. I think that's one thing that people don't really understand. Like, it doesn't matter who you play. It doesn't matter if you're playing. Because I think when people say that, oh, it's Grimsby, at the end of the day, you should just win against Grimsby. Basically, what you're trying to say is that, like, your individual brilliance should, like, it shouldn't even matter what formation or what
that's the argument I was trying to make. That it shouldn't even matter what formation the manager.
Yeah, but like, no matter what, they're trying to play to the manager's system and his style of play, no matter what. Because, like, if they don't, the manager is not going to be happy and they get benched. Yes, if they win the game like 5-0, it doesn't matter. But what is probably going to tell them after that is that we have to do my thing. We have to do my style of play. Yes, we won this game, but it was against Grimsby. So, it doesn't really matter that we beat Grimsby.
The team that played that Grimsby Town game were fringe players, barring the front 3. Minus, even Ahmad is like a fringe player. Barring the front 3, the team that started that game against Grimsby Town were fringe players. Tyler Fredrickson is 21. He's a fringe player, whether we like it or not. Aiden Heaven is 18, a fringe player, whether we like it or not. Harry Maguire is actually a fringe player. In the pecking order of Amorim's centre-backs, Harry Maguire is under De Ligt as the centre of centre-back. Then, Lenny Yoro didn't start that game, obviously. The guys who are supposed to start, Casemiro didn't start that game. Bruno didn't start that game. The only players that started the game that will start in our first team, Dogu, Cunha, Šeško, and then Ahmad if Dalot is benched.
Yeah.
So what I would have said is maybe you could have done something differently in this City game. And what's the different thing you'd have done? Instead of starting Bruno in that midfield as the number 8, he starts Bruno as a 10, left 10, put Ahmad as wing back. It could be Ahmad, then you can say, okay, maybe you can now bring in Mazraoui much later as centre back. I mean, as a right side or left side of centre back. But instead of that Ahmad Mbumo formation, it's a bit lopsided. Mbumo is stronger than Ahmad. Ahmad was not like that. Yeah. So you'd have put Bruno there, put Mainoo and Ugarte, and then put Ahmad as right wing back. It solves a bit of the problem and takes away the overloading, because Bruno would definitely drop into mid to help. Now, Bruno was being told in this same formation to mark someone, and the person he went to mark that left Euro bare. And Euro came out of position and they scored us. Then he mentioned what happened, and fans went and said, oh, Bruno is blaming it, an 18-year-old. He should get out of the club. Like, that is serious right now. So I understand. That's why I asked that question.
Yeah.
You've said it to yourself. You answered the question by saying you don't think there's anything we could have done differently. Trust me.
Like the players individually, yeah.
Exactly. Whether we like it or not, that team that started that game were the strongest team we can actually put out. Because if you put out a stronger team, trust me, they're going to give Amorim pelters. They will say, oh, it's Grimsby Town. You want to put out your best player and all of that. No, but he had to bring in the French players to show, okay, these guys can still play, and it's Grimsby Town. Maybe we underrated them, no problem. But it's Grimsby Town. Fourth team.
Are you saying that is because that one of the things is because of the French players? Are you saying that the French players playing is it one of the things that caused the loss?
No, I'm just saying if everybody is going to say that, if everybody is going to say that we should have won that game,
yeah,
and we drew the game and eventually lost it on penalties. The question is, what could we have done differently in that game? Because everybody was clamoring for Mainoo. Oh, it's been 2 games. Mainoo hasn't started for Man United. Is it? I saw a news today. Mainoo is. I read it, and I'm like, that news is fake. It's no news. Mainoo has told people that are close to him that he thinks that Amorim doesn't rate him. I'm like, how is this news, please? But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Now, Mainoo. Everybody was clamoring for Mainoo. Press conference after Fulham. Mainoo. Every question was Mainoo. Is Mainoo starting? Mainoo, when is he going to start? Mainoo starts the game against Grimsby Town. Everybody saw that he had a stinker. We're not going to lie to ourselves. I said it at the beginning before the Grimsby Town game. I say if Mainoo starts and he gets a stinker, everybody's going to climb on his head. Thankfully, nobody climbed on his head. He's still a young guy. He's 20. He has not started. He played so many times under Ten Hag and got injured and was never the same. Muscle injury left, right, and center. It's easier to slowly bring him into the team than wanting to play him by all means. If you play him by all means and his confidence is short, the people that are clamoring for him to be played will be the first people that will crucify him. That's the thing. But it's common sense. Go ahead.
I don't know, because I feel like when I saw Mainoo started that game, yeah, and now how I think about like the Amorim in versus Amorim out Man United fans, and this is for the Amorim in fans.
Yeah.
So like you said, like the guys that want Mainoo to start, the guys that are saying, oh, why doesn't this guy play?
Yeah.
I feel like something that the people that Amorim in do is sort of, and I hate to break down United fans in Amorim, but it's what we have to do.
Yeah.
But when a player like Mainoo starts now, for example, and then he has his stinker, like you said, against Grimsby, they're so excited to be like, oh, this is the man that you wanted to start, and now you had the stinker, so can you still blame Amorim? I don't like that though.
Yeah, I understand your point, but what I was trying to make, the point I was trying to make with the Mainoo situation was, let's allow him cook. That's my point. I'm not saying
can he cook in this system? Do you think?
He can.
Like in this,
he can. You didn't. So people didn't catch it. Amorim says during Ten Hag's time, when Man United were playing transition, once the ball gets to Mainoo, he calms it down. He trusts the guy. He knows the guy can control games. Then he likened Mainoo to Vitinha, and I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, that actually makes sense. Mainoo is your Vitinha, your calm guy, collects the ball from everybody, spray the passes, drive forward, pass, and all of that. For that midfield in PSG to work, you need João Pedro and you need Ruben. What's this other guy's name? You said?
Fabian Ruiz.
You need Fabian Ruiz and João Pedro and João Neves to work. Like if Vitinha is driving forward, one has to drop. The same thing. If Fabian Ruiz and Vitinha and Vitinha are pushing forward, one has to. But you don't believe that Vitinha played in the Premier League and stunk the place out.
Yeah,
exactly. So he said it. He mentioned Vitinha played in Wolves and he didn't really play well. But now look at him. What has he just done? Likened Mainoo to Vitinha. Do you think Kobe Mainoo now will start in that PSG lineup?
He won't start.
Boom. Now, I'm not saying I'm happy that he won't start. I'm saying give him time. This is a player that literally came 2 years ago, was injured for the most part of last year, barely made the Euros last year. And then
made it and did well.
And did well, no doubt. But then came back, and I remember I was injured for the most part when you needed him last season.
Yeah.
And then he's back now. Amorim has tried him on the 10, too slow. Tried him in the 6, not too defensive. Yeah. So where do you fit him? Trust me, he's that 8. And you know why I said that? He needs to work with somebody who is defensively astute. Someone who is like a screener. Someone who can, if he loses the ball, the person will clear. You know, why it was easier for him to play like that against City was because Casemiro was there. Albeit Casemiro was a bit slower, but we were already playing a high line anyway. So he went and trust me, in all Amorim's comments, I've seen improvements in Mainoo. I won't lie. Mainoo is faster. I don't know if people caught it. Against Burnley, there was one chase Mainoo made. He beat the guy to pace and turned with the ball. The same thing happened against Man City. So it's not like these players don't know what to do. It's just that it is a bit counterproductive, if I may say, to put in a player like Mainoo in a squad, and then the day he has a stinker, then you now start bashing him. I'm not saying, that's why I made that statement. I say Man United fans who are saying Mainoo coming are going to be the first to bash Mainoo when he has a stinker.
Bash him. Yeah.
So, but I will clamor for him to take his time. And now they're pushing other young players. Shea Lacey, I saw Shea Lacey. Oh, he's close to coming to the first team. I'm like, this Shea Lacey that I watched under 18 games. I watch under 20 games, under 21 games. Shea Lacey is good, but he's not Premier League. He's not strong to play in the Premier League. I know they say if you're good enough, you are old enough. That's fine. But you give them time to cook. 1 game, 2 games, 3 games. Once they get there, then you can start to feed them in slowly into the lineup. That's the thing.
I feel like for Mainoo, just like you said, like, you know, it's not immediate. Like, I feel like Man U, a problem that we have is that we rush players into the starting. We rush players and they get burnt out. Like we did it with Rasmus when we signed him.
We did it with Garnacho too recently.
We did it with Rashford. I feel like Rashford, we rushed him into the spotlight. I feel like with Rashford, he had such a high ceiling. And, you know, everybody saw it, everybody was excited.
His ceiling could still have been higher.
Exactly. But that's the thing. Like, I feel like United was so quick to, he played well, get into the squad. And, you know, is our culture, is what we do. Like, you know, we all remember Ferguson, what we did with kids, how we won trophies with kids and everything. So it's part of what we do. It's part of our background. But at the same time, like, there's negative media right now on Man United that we cannot be rushing players into that, like, limelight. Like, you know, we need to keep them. We don't do enough to protect our players, in my opinion. Like we never protect our players. We didn't do it for Rasmus. We didn't do it for anybody. Rashford, even Garnacho. I feel like Garnacho, he was hated by the media, and nobody did anything whatsoever to protect him. And Garnacho, I see so many United fans have turned on him. But I remember once upon a time,
2022.
It was even a tiny rumor that Real Madrid wanted him, and all my United fans, you know what they said? Not again. Do you know why they said not again? Ronaldo to Real Madrid. Am I comparing Garnacho to Ronaldo? God forbid. But I'm saying that United fans knew how talented this man was. Yeah. They knew that Real Madrid would get stealing the talents from him, and they knew that there's a good chance that he'll want to go because, let's face it, Real Madrid is a bigger club than Man United. But now we turn on him, we make him look like he's the worst player in the world. But I feel like even last season was not bad from Garnacho. He had decent stats, and as much as he doesn't really fit in the system, he looked decent at times. He always tries to make something happen, which is something I like about him. Always try to make something happen. But we were so quick to like turn on these players and everything. And I never loved that about my United fans, but I've never loved that about my United as a whole as well, because I don't feel like we do enough to protect our players.
That's the scapegoat mentality we're talking about. And Garnacho also did part, so it's partly Garnacho's fault, and it's partly
definitely
United fan base. Garnacho is not helping himself. You know, with all the drama with his brother and the rumors and the wanting to be Ronaldo and wanting to be this and that, it ruined his career at Man United, and it made things even worse for him. And that's why there's always a struggle, you know, especially with Garnacho. Yesterday, I watched him. I watched the Bayern game to hate watch, not to actually. I wanted Bayern to win, but I also wanted Chelsea to be shattered, so that by the time we play them, they will not have They'll still be,
It doesn't work like that for Man U. It doesn't matter.
I know. I agree. But that, I just, one can only hope, right?
Yeah.
One can only hope. So that was why I thought, and I watched Garnacho. Typical Garnacho, same thing, hugging the touchline, 1 foot, dribble, pass the ball sideways. He always wants to play for himself well, especially against when he was playing at Man United. He always wanted to play for himself, or he wanted to dribble and pass the ball to, or try to shoot, and he had, I think, 2 shots on target yesterday. Yeah. And that is not how you do it. As a young player, particularly who's just 20, 21, once you get the ball, there were times when Rasmus was crying for the ball. Garnacho took it and shot it when he should have squared or passed. Yeah. Remember the goal under Ten Hag against Manchester City, Marcus Rashford scored, that Garnacho assisted Rashford. Garnacho actually shot first. Garnacho shot. He did. And then Akanji
he now turned it,
deflected the ball back to him. He now turned and squared.
Yeah.
Pass the damn ball, but it is what it is. Garnacho plays for himself, and that's what killed him. And then his attitude as well off the pitch didn't really help. He knew the fans were watching. He knew the fans were, were going to be agitated by his antics and also the leaks that come out from the dressing room. But he still did it anyway. And then the last one the straw that broke the camel's back for Garnacho was the post Europa League final comments. That just kind of ended everything. Meanwhile, what was Ruben Amorim's first press conference with regards to Garnacho? Oh, when I saw Garnacho, I didn't believe that Garnacho could receive the ball between the lines. But look at that, he's improved. And he actually did better receiving between the lines as an inside forward. But then when he gets inside, he goes outside, which makes the left wing back, at that point, I think Malaysia or even Dogu in January, to go as an underlap, not an overlap. Okay.
Exactly. Oh my God. Yeah, you get it.
Yeah. So
it was Dalo.
Yeah. The guy has gone as an underlapping winger.
Yeah.
Give him the ball through, or break it and then give a through ball, or break it and pass to the middle. But no. Garnacho will go wide. The guy has gone on underlapping and has run to the edge of the box. Then Garnacho goes wide and turns back. To who? So Garnacho changes our game. But what Amorim wanted in Garnacho is what he has found in Mbeumo. That's what I think. Because the games against Real Sociedad, where he switched Garnacho from playing as the left inside forward to the right inside forward to stretch the pitch, because Amorim likes players that can, one player of his 2 turns can stretch the pitch, the other player can carry the ball and run. That's why he wanted Garnacho to be that pitch stretcher. First leg against Sociedad, he stretched the pitch, he got the assist for Bruno to score one of the goals. Second leg, same thing, right? So where Amorim was annoyed, which the press has asked, the journalist asked him, was when they said they were talking about Garnacho this, Garnacho that, Garnacho this, Garnacho that. He now asked them, who missed the one-on-one chance against Lyon? They said Garnacho. That's why. So
I don't know, because I've talked a lot about Garnacho here, and one of the things that we have to point out is that, like anybody, like Mainoo, like anybody, he's a young player, and young players need to be molded. And
I defended him.
I defended him.
I have videos on my channel where I defended Garnacho. I'm like, bro, this guy needs to be defended by all means possible. He needs to be. So
exactly. So he needs to be defended, and he needs to be molded, because you have to teach them how to move, how to go about your day and everything. And with Man United, we don't have that, We have not had that for time. Like, how the old days and everything, a young player comes to the team and then they meet Roy Keane. I heard that there was a time where Roy Keane made Ronaldo cry for.
So, speaking of that is what Amorim is doing in this team now, but people are not clocking that. Tom Heaton came out to say, I saw a news yesterday or today, Tom Heaton said Amorim has created a leadership group in the dressing room of senior team players. And he said, our leadership group is to help Bruno as the captain of the team. And they have like 5 players in that leadership group. Tom Heaton, Bruno, Maguire, Luke Shaw is in that leadership group. And I think De Ligt also. These are the guys that are called senior. Even Mbeumo and Cunha can't even make that leadership group. I think Casemiro is in the leadership group too as well. There are 5. But the truth is, they help as to instill, and Tom Heaton, obviously, only 3 or 4 appearances for Manchester United. And he came in 2022 or thereabout. Now, the same Tom Heaton, obviously, he's telling players, oh, this is what is expected at the club. This is what is expected as a Man United player. That's what Amorim is trying to instill. This same thing that Roy Keane mentioned and all that, albeit it might not be the same as what it used to be.
Yeah,
I mean, they made Wayne Rooney cry as well, just as you were talking. So, I mean, it's not like I am running out of words to defend Amorim, but I think he's trying everything, but it just isn't working. That's what I think.
So, before I jump into that topic, because I'm about to jump into that right now.
Yeah.
With Garnacho, just one last thing with Garnacho.
Yeah.
Do you think that it was unfair that he didn't start the Europa League final? Before you get into it, I'll just give my own and say that I do think that maybe, I know obviously, a player like Mason Mount fits Amorim's system better. He can do what Amorim wants better. And like you said, like someone that can receive the ball between the lines and everything. Mason Mount does that 10 times better than Garnacho. So it makes sense that, like, when he comes back into the team, Amorim plays him right. But with just like how we've been playing the whole Europa League, just the amount of impact that Garnacho had in the whole Europa League, I do think that going to the final and then getting benched is kind of like it's just sad to see. And obviously he could have approached it better after the game and maybe not done that in the media, maybe go to Amorim personally and just be like, like, I wanted to play and you didn't play me and everything. I have a problem with that kind of thing. So he could have done better to approach that. But I don't think that Garnacho is fully wrong for wanting to get game time in that game. And the reason why I say that is because, like, there's this thing about players. So, like, you have your natural starters, the players that start every single game, no matter what, right? And they get, like, that player gets injured, for example, ACL, anything, that player gets an injury, and that player is out, so you play the other player. And then it doesn't matter what game it is. When that player comes back, right, from injury, it doesn't matter what game it is, whether it's a final, whether it's anything, you put that player back because you trust him. He has, maybe you have seen him in training, you already know that he's talented, you already know what he can do to a team, and then you play him, right? Mount is not that for United. Mount is not a player that has shown anything to say that, okay, make I come into this team, start me. If you know that game, Mount was nowhere to be found. He went ghost, nowhere to be found. So, and the thing with Garnacho is that as much as he's one of the most frustrating players in the world, like, he's always trying to make something happen, and he won't have gone ghost in that game. Yes, he would have frustrated United fans, but he won't have gone ghost in that game. And I said it about those players that naturally start, and I bring up Courtois. We all remember Manchester Champions League 2024. Courtois was out, ACL injury for all of the season. Lunin had been playing. Lunin led us to that Champions League final.
And then they played Courtois.
Courtois had played like 1 or 2 La Liga games or something like that before the final. And they said, you're ready for this final, bro. And they played Courtois. So, but Courtois is the type of player that you make it comes back and you tell this other guy, I'm back. Sorry about that. Like, thank you for getting us here, but I'm back. Mount is not that guy.
Okay.
So why do you start Mount?
So, it brings me back to a certain player in the person of Dimitar Berbatov, where we had a good season that season. I can't remember the year, but I know Berbatov played his best. It was his best scoring season, and he got us to the final of the Champions League. And Berbatov was benched. For who? Carlos Tevez. What I'm talking about here. So, and if Sir Alex Ferguson can do it, I mean, mine is Garnacho should have approached it better. That's number one. Number two, done everything possible to prove a point. Not act on emotions. It's hard to not act on emotions, but he could have done everything possible to prove a point to Ruben Amorim that, oh, I deserve to be in this lineup. But to go out and it's not even like in a proper press conference. It's like the common area where the media always comes and the player can be passing by and stop and talk. And he goes and says absolute wibble that got him out the team. It was just those words that kicked Garnacho out. If Garnacho did not mention those things, maybe it would be that the media would ask Amorim, oh, why didn't you start Garnacho? You know he was your most impactful player throughout the knockout stages. You didn't start him. I, for one, would have said, okay, in fact, I think my predicted lineup had Garnacho in it. I could have said, okay, Garnacho start, maybe after 60 minutes, take him off, bring on Mount to change the game. Either ways, Garnacho didn't start. Mount started, and after 72 minutes, Garnacho came on, but couldn't do much. I could have said that the reverse can still be the case, but it is not about Garnacho not starting. It's about actually Garnacho's response to not being started. He's not used to it. Amorim said the same thing about Mainoo. Mainoo is not used to competing with people for places. That he thinks Mainoo is not used to. The same thing. Garnacho is a young boy. He came FAU Cup final 2022. Him and Mainoo were in that team, and they are starters. They've been starting all through. They got right. So Berbatov did not feel happy, but Berbatov didn't go to the press to shout and talk and say,
"You couldn't do that under Ferguson."
Exactly. So, which means him going out to talk means he does not respect the manager. So if you don't respect me, you're out the door. That's pretty much what I think happened. Yeah. So for me, I feel bad. I felt bad for Garnacho. I really wanted him to thrive. In fact, I have family members that love Garnacho. Garnacho is their favorite player, but he's ruined. My wife loves Garnacho a lot. She's like, every small thing Garnach. That's what she always says. In truth, like, I wish that Garnacho thrived at United. He would have been a great addition to our squad depth, but it can't be now, right? So
yeah, but like you said, like, he's a young player, right? And young players might not know. And this brings me back to my point of, like, we just don't, like, see, under Ferguson, like you said, we couldn't even do that. Like, it wasn't even an option to do that, because not even just because you're afraid of getting sold, you're afraid of the man himself. Like, you're scared.
Bro, Rio Ferdinand talked about it on the channel several times. That one time he yelled at Alex Ferguson. Alex Ferguson came and gave him the hair dryer. You know what the hair dryer is? Someone comes over you, you're sitting down, comes over you and shouts the living daylight out of you on top. Like, he blows your head out with shouting. Guess who is taller? Ferdinand. But who was shouting? Ferguson. That's what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure Amorim gave him the hair dryer and still told him, you better find yourself another club. And that got out. Because first, his brothers didn't help him. His brother is a social media influencer. Didn't help him. He goes on and puts stuff against the club. So the reason why I think, so it's a multitude of factors. That's the reason why I think the club will be like, we don't want this drama. The drama had better go. And yeah, that's why they let Garnacho go.
But another reason why they let him go, or why we were so willing to let him go, is because he doesn't fit in this Amorim system. And
can I agree with you partially on that?
Partially?
Yeah. Why I'll say partially is because he's played in the system. We also saw him play in the system.
Yeah, but like, does he, like, I think the difference between making something work, like, you know, just like getting the best out of a situation, right? And someone's natural profile. Because, like, at the end of the day, football comes down to, like, your profile and your instinct. Yes, people can change. Yes, people can
absolutely
change their style of play. A winger can become a left back. A cam can become a DM.
Case in point, Valencia, Ashley Young, they
literally
both wing backs.
It happens all the time. Bale became a winger. It happens all the time, right? But football does come down to that natural instinct and everything. And with Garnacho's natural instinct, his natural style of play of being like a wide man, like, as much as Amorim does, like, you know, someone that can maintain the weight and everything, he, like, Garnacho is just not his type of player. And I feel like Garnacho not fitting in the system is one of the reasons why, like, United fans, for example, would accept that, like, you know, just, like, it's okay if we sell him and everything. Getting only 40 million for a player like Garnacho is embarrassing, and United business is just, I think the only team worse at selling players is UV.
One thing I love about Garnacho in his time at United was that he made a situation that looked pointless to work. While others were busy misbehaving. Anthony was, when they told him to defend, he was moaning. Rashford was not working hard. Sancho was busy playing games. Malacia obviously injured, but for Garnacho, especially in these three, Garnacho, Sancho, and Anthony, he stood out of the three and made the situation work for him.
He even came back after the Rashford and
so it's just for Garnacho, I feel sorry for him, because I think he's going to struggle in this Chelsea team, but it is what it is. He chose Chelsea and says he has to be Chelsea or nobody.
I think he should have left the Premier League.
Should have gone to Bayern. Bayern were calling for him.
I think they'll go to, like, Syria or something.
Yeah, but Bayern were calling for him. They were going to sign him. And if he had gone to Bayern,
done well in Bayern?
Bro, he could have.
I think it was okay. I think they would have benched him eventually.
Bayern don't have depth.
Yeah, they don't have depth. Yeah, that's
exactly. So they let Kingsley Coman go. They brought in Diaz. On the right, they only have Olise.
They brought in Jackson.
And then any other player is young. Garnacho could have thrived at Bayern. Diaz will take a break. Diaz will take a break when he's tired. And then you have Musiala is injured. Come on. Gnabry can play across the midfield. Right, center, left. Garnacho would have thrived. And then guess what? These guys that he's playing with will have loads of experience to teach him, to help him grow, help him be more tough. But look at Chelsea, young team. Who is he competing with? Jamie Gittins and Pedro Neto. And who else again?
Not the highest quality, I can't lie.
Esteval,
yeah.
Who else? That's the thing. But he's like, oh, it has to be Chelsea. It's Chelsea or no one. Why? He has that revenge mentality. He wants to score against Man United.
I think it was revenge.
I think that's the only thing I can think about. Because
all of that for I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I see it and like I can especially like knowing Garnacho, seeing how he is, like his attitude and everything. I can imagine that's a reason. But I don't know because I'm thinking
he can be petty like that.
Stay in the Premier League.
He can be petty like that, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. I can agree with you on that because, like,
do you know
seeing how he has reacted, I can see.
Do you know that him going to Bayern secures him a trophy for certain?
Yeah, for time.
DFB Pokal and League for certain, and he could skyrocket to any. If Real Madrid could call him,
yeah,
he could go anywhere. In this Real Madrid team, yes, he won't compete, obviously, because there's Rodrigo, there's Vini, there's Brahim Diaz, there's Mostantuono, so he won't compete. There's depth everywhere in the front line, not at the back anyway. Yeah. But he could have done well at Bayern, but he wants to stay in Premier League. Maybe he might be thinking, I want to compete in the Premier League, but I think there's revenge there. I think there's revenge there. There's nothing you want to tell me, because come Saturday we will know. You will see. Yeah. And this guy will now go and try. Maresca will now go and try and put him at the starting lineup.
Come and prove your point against Man U.
Oh man. He now scores. Bro. And it's Old Trafford. He will now celebrate.
I can imagine. God.
Bro.
I can imagine.
I'm imagining, but bro. You will try everything because you say, oh, I know these players, I know this squad, I know their weaknesses, and Maresca will not go and put him. Imagine putting Garnacho on the left, putting Pedro Neto on the right, putting instead of James, you put Kopama as attacking mid. Bro, think about it. And they're starting Ahmad ahead of Dalot.
Yeah, it's going to be a long game, I can't lie.
Because Garnacho had one-on-one against Mbuma and dribbled him last season in Brentford. You didn't see that? Mbuma dropped. So Mbuma dropped back. That Brentford game, I think we lost the game. Shadow scored like 2 goals or 1 goal or something.
Oh, I remember that game. Oh my God, I remember that game.
Towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Mbuma dropped back. Garnacho dribbled him and broke, and then front of the 18-yard box shot. The keeper saved, or wide or over or something. But he had a good shot. You will want to try that this game. So that's Garnacho is just anyway. I think I'm pretty much tired of talking about the guy.
Yeah. So let's transfer to. We're already in this topic, so let's just talk about it a bit. Let's talk about that Chelsea game coming up and what we think about the game. What do you think?
So I've been trying to think about the game, but I try not to think about it as well. But I tried to watch Chelsea's game. Yesterday against Bayern Munich, and I had a thought. I'm like, these guys are strong though. Like they have a good defense. I mean, this guy Adarabioyo and
Tosin
and Chalobah are working well as a back two pairing. The Malogusto right back, Cucurella. I don't really like that guy, but he's strong left back.
He's good.
So they have a back four solid. Yeah, Sanchez keeper is not that bad too as well. We have to be very ruthless against Chelsea, man. Like, we have to be ruthless. This game has. What did I put as in my game? I've not recorded the preview, but what I put in the preview was lifeline. Because bro, that Chelsea game is going to be tough, man. They'll be coming from the annoyance of losing to Bayern in Europe. And you have Caicedo. No matter how much I don't like that guy is good.
Strong candidate.
Then you have Enzo Fernandez in the midfield. And then you have Kopama or even Rhys James. Then Kopama plays as the right winger.
It's going to be a long game. It's going to be a long game. Honestly,
I want to be positive and say Man United will win that game 2-1. But it's hard. I remember Caicedo against Man United last season, bro. That shot from outside the box. Same goal he scored in their game against Brentford. Bro, man. You can't give that chance. You want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say that I feel like I want to be confident because like Chelsea have shown cracks, have shown that like, you know, they're not necessarily that strong. But I feel like with City as well, City have shown cracks this season, and even starting from last season, City are not as good as they were. And I streamed that game live, and in my match build up before the game started, I said it. I was analyzing City, and I was saying this is where United can capitalize. And I said that City in midfield, City in defense, there's weaknesses there. Kusanov started in right back, but we don't have a natural left winger to capitalize on that.
Dogu.
Yeah, because we don't have a natural. But see, why is it Dogu going against Kusanov when Kusanov, like see Noni versus against Nottingham Forest? See how he played in that game. Yeah. Like that's how you play in winger like Noni against when you see a centre back playing in left back or in right back. That is food. That is breakfast. You eat, but we don't have players that can eat.
That's why I felt that Ahmad could have been a right wing back, because when he went to right wing back around 72 minutes and they switched Bruno to a left 10, our switch of play became better. We started switching balls to Ahmad, and then Ahmad had the better of O'Reilly. Was their left back? So
I feel like we just didn't like we don't. But also, I don't think that we have the players right now to really like. We don't have like natural wingers who can eat off a situation like that. But that's not even just one thing. Kusanov playing is one thing. But I feel like Man City have shown cracks. That midfield, Rodri just come back from injury. He's still trying to get to the pace of the game. Mamouche is not necessarily as physical. He can't really do the back and front running as much. Like in terms of attacking and everything, he can, but like he's just not the most physical. He needs to adapt to the Premier League. They have a keeper who hasn't played for
a Premier League game.
He hasn't played a Premier League game, and he hasn't played for God knows how long. He doesn't have a preseason in him. He doesn't have anything, and he's just playing. So they have all these cracks here. So I analyzed that game, and I said, "There's something here for United. There's something here. I don't know what it is, but there's something here." But I also said, "Well, with City." Oh my god! I didn't do prediction because I said that every time I predict United will lose. I said I'm not predicting that game, but I said that there's something here for United. But there was also something there for City as well, because and this is what I said. Oh my god! I said it. Haaland is going to use Luke Shaw. Like he's going to capitalize off Luke Shaw, and it was the most obvious thing ever. Like I couldn't see anything more obvious than Haaland using Luke Shaw.
Who could have been better in that left side? That's the thing. Eden Heaven is the option.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like I'm not even saying that Luke Shaw starting is necessarily a bad thing, because Eden Heaven is another. But Eden Heaven also, I'm not saying that Eden Heaven should have started, but like, you know, against the Haaland, it's better to have a strong back three like them than to have like a player that naturally plays CB. So
I felt he probably would have started Maguire, De Ligt on the right, Euro on the left.
Something like that, but Maguire cannot cover. The thing about it is that if they had done that now, they'd have found a way to capitalize off the wing and not from Haaland.
It's still the wing they capitalize to score the goal. So
definitely. But another thing that I saw was Foden starting as well. The week I saw Foden starting, I just knew let him do his midfield thing, overload the midfield as per usual, and call it a day. So everybody had cracks, and you know, our keeper, everything, there's just cracks everywhere, right? But like I saw that game, and I saw that there's something in that game. So I look at Chelsea game now, and I'm thinking, Chelsea have cracks here and there. Like, you know, they're a good team and everything, but they're not as strong, they're not as sound as, they're not as good defensively as well.
I think they're not as good defensively.
They're not as good defensively. Well. So
I don't know.
But that's the thing, like, can United capitalize? Like, and honestly, I'm tired of having that hope of like, we're about to capitalize, we're about to, like, you know, there's all these things that we can take advantage of, because we just never do. We never do. Unless the team doesn't play in the Premier League, we never do.
unless we capitalize, like it feels like we can, but you know, this kind of thing, you want to be positive, but you have doubts.
I know my team.
It's hard.
Honestly.
It's hard to accept, but this is where we are, and we have to just kind of take it like that and see if we can build from here. I feel if we get a draw or we win, we scrape a win, we'll be good. But I don't want us to lose that game. That's I don't want us to lose Chelsea game. Because if we lose that game, it is the lowest of lows right now. I thought we were low, Grimsby Town, Man City. Nah, man. Even Arsenal were even high. It will be the lowest of lows. And guess what? The next two games are also not easy. Brentford and Sunderland.
Exactly. But okay, now like let's turn back to Amorim and let's turn back to United as a whole. Look at the way we're talking about United. We have almost no hope whatsoever in United right now. Winning, like we literally just talked about Chelsea, who as much as like not the strongest side right now, they're still a very good side, right? One of the best sides in the Premier League. And so obviously it's right to have your fears and everything. But we just talked about Brentford as a team, as a difficult game. And Brentford is a team who, as much as like, you know, they've had
they've given us tough times.
They've given us tough times, but right now, Brentford is one of the favourites to get relegated this season.
In the last 4 years, they've given us tough times.
Yeah, but it's not the same manager. It's not the same manager.
Yeah, the new manager has picked up form. They won yesterday, literally.
Yeah, but that was like,
they won in the EFL. They gave Chelsea a hard time. They almost beat Chelsea. It ended up 2-2. I watched that game because I was hate watching Chelsea.
Yeah, but we cannot. But look at it now. Like, as much as yes, you know, they've shown something this season, they're not a team that we should be going to and saying. I accept
that, but that's all we've said like for the last 4 years. They're not a team that we should go. And then when we go,
no, but that was a different manager. Thomas Frank is a manager. I feel like Thomas Frank was one of the best managers in the league always, and he's the manager that like when you're putting it down to the manager, right? Like when you're putting it down to like, but you know, just have this manager who always gets the best out of us. So this manager is just cracked and everything, like Thomas Frank. You can now say, okay, let me have my reservations, right? But I feel like right now we're not having our reservations because Brentford have this amazing manager or this amazing squad because I've lost that players, literally lost them to us and everything. We're having these things because we're so bad and the standards at the club are at an all-time low. Like the standards of the club have never been lower. I've never felt less confident that we're going to win any game. Do you know that right now, out of every single team in the Premier League, in terms since Amorim came, we're last in terms of points gotten. I think we've had 31 games and we've only won 8 in the Premier League.
Yeah, and 31 games, 31 points, and in the last 4 games, 1 point per game.
That is disgusting. The standards in the club are at an all-time low. And the thing with United fans right now, especially, I don't want to make it seem as if like I'm doing an Amorim or the.
Yeah, but you can call them Amorim outers because we've had that all season, right? You can call them out. You can say the Amorim outers how they feel because obviously from what you can tell from the Amorim outers, they want the manager gone, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? So.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the standards are too low right now at the club. Since Amorim came, that we're almost accepting, and there's this thing that United fans say a lot right now, the ones that are Amorim in, where they're like, you know, we're not the same since Fergie. And that was once an excuse, right? Like that we're not the same thing that we're under Fergie. That was once an excuse that you could use before, when we're finishing 5th, when we're not competing for the league, but we're still in Europe and everything. But I don't think that you can use that excuse when we're finishing 15th, when we're finishing 10th, when we're not beating Grimsby. You cannot say, but we're not the same thing that we're under Fergie because it doesn't matter. You shouldn't be losing.
But some fans, maybe they also need to check back and think historically. When we had a good manager like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, they called him a PE teacher. They said it's just vibes, right? Exactly. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got us to 3rd position first season, 2nd position second season.
Yeah.
And then he didn't have a good start because they bombarded him with a player like Ronaldo and Sancho at the same time.
You understand? Thank you.
Yeah. So I've also watched some interviews by Solskjaer. and he didn't thrive. And guess what? We made the environment toxic for him. He comes to press conferences. They say, "Oh, he's." In fact, the one I heard the most during Solskjaer's time was he's lost the plot. Yeah, that's what I heard. Now, Solskjaer is now looking like a better manager than Ruben Amorim. In all of Solskjaer's time, he got 2.0 points per game in the Premier League all of his time. Amorim in last season, 1 point per game. This season, 1 point per game. So if we've played 4 games, we have 4 points. So we have to, take what we're being served. That's what I'll say, because many people had called for it and said, we cannot sack Solskjaer. We have to keep him. We have to keep him. Yeah, I'll say maybe the old board, the Glazers had to let him go. That's fine. Now we got Ten Hag, and then the Glazers got Ten Hag, right? And the Glazers, got him the players he needed. He wanted his players that were with him at Ajax and Dutch players and all of that.
Such a stupid move as well.
Exactly. But then we as fans also killed Ten Hag by ourselves. Because whether we like it or not, in 2 seasons, the trophy that we needed Solskjaer to give us, Ten Hag gave us 2 trophies. Yeah. In 2 seasons. Before Ten Hag gave us any trophy, the last time we won a trophy was 2017. Manchester United versus Ajax, Europa League final under Mourinho against Ten Hag and Onana.
Yeah.
So Pogba played in that game, and Pogba got the first goal. It was a shot that was deflected and went into. So, we are the ones killing ourselves and killing our manager. We're the ones butchering our manager, because in truth, it's expected that we back him, but then the media first starts to feed the fans. The fans lap the media's news, and then it starts to build up. Next thing, Solskjaer out, Ole out, Ole out, Ole out, Ole out. Then next thing, it's not the players. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knew. That's why he cried on the day he was leaving. Guys,
yeah, I remember that.
Fans, I don't want to say I'm tired, but we as the fan base, we need to be smart enough to know that the media is feeding us.
The media is definitely feeding us here. But
imagine a press conference for Man City that they were supposed to be asking about how Amorim is going to face the game. That press conference, the part 2 of the first conference, was all Mainoo.
Yeah.
All Mainoo. I'll call out one journalist who kept asking about. They've answered the question about Mainoo. He still asked. Jimmy Jackson. Taking it back to Mainoo. Speaking of Mainoo, he's a player that got us a goal, or got Manchester United a goal in the final of the. He's come up clutch many times. He got us goal in final against Man City in the FA Cup, and then he got us the winning goal away at Wolves, and he got us a goal against Liverpool at Old Trafford, and then he's not even getting a start. I'm like, bro, focus on the Man City game. Leave Mainoo. He has answered the question about Mainoo. He has said it several times in that same press conference, the part 1. I trust Mainoo. I believe in Mainoo. So once they hear that, they say, he doesn't rate Mainoo. Mainoo is not that good. He feels Mainoo is not this. He feels Mainoo is not that. Forgetting what Amorim has said. The truth is, I don't blame one person. It's a whole club situation.
Yeah.
The players, the manager, the hierarchy, everybody's involved in this. Amorim wanted a midfielder, they didn't give him. They failed another manager just the way they failed. So the whole club thing.
See, because I feel like, yes, it's a whole thing. It's the players, it's the managers, it's everybody. But there's 2 things, and there's one thing that you mentioned as well, which is that Amorim wanted the midfielder, he didn't get one, and they failed him. Amorim wanted calms, Amorim wanted a whole new attack, and they gave him that. Amorim wanted a keeper, and they gave him that. Yes, towards the end of the
but they didn't give him that. So if you it's better, and if you look at it, it's like a spine. It's like a tree. Goalkeeper, defense is sorted. So goalkeeper, defense, delete, bargain buy. Goalkeeper, defense, midfield. If you got that midfield, then you have the attack in Cunha and Bumo. Then you have your striker. So that line is now. What if they got him in the midfield and he failed? We can start talking. But they didn't get in the midfield and he's failing.
No, but that's the thing. How, whether you fail because they didn't get you something that you needed, like Ten Hag, De Jong, whatever, how you fail when they don't get you what you need, it should be measured, right? And I think that Amorim is failing too much for not getting that midfielder, because as much as what's it called, like I think that maybe, if maybe we would have gotten a midfielder, maybe it won't have been great or anything, but would have been better and all of that. I do think that I can't look at United squad right now and be like, we're just not good enough to bring back-to-back games.
But guess what?
But what?
I know, because you see these back-to-back games you mentioned is one of the things that the media fed us.
Yeah, that fed us, yeah.
We've only played 5 games this season.
But this started from last season. They're talking about since Amorim joined.
Amorim said, forget about last season when the new season.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, hold on. Just get me. We're not forgetting about last season. But Amorim says, forget about last season, and the good days are coming. That's what he said. End of last season.
Yeah.
We've played 5 games only.
Uh-huh.
If we didn't concede that goal against that fake goal against Arsenal,
yeah,
probably would have ended in a draw, right? We didn't concede that Emil Smith Rowe, the mistake that led to Emil Smith Rowe scoring against Fulham. It would have probably ended in a win.
Yeah.
Right? Think about it. That's already 4 points in 2 games. We beat Burnley. Maybe we ended up beating Grimsby Town on penalties. That would have been 4 games, 3 wins, 1 draw. Then we'll now go and play Burnley and beat them 3-2. That would have been 5. In fact, if we beat Burnley 5-2, because I know how many chances we missed, that would have been 4 games with 3 wins, 1 draw. 3 wins and 2 draws.
Yeah.
Then we
3 wins and 1 draw, I think.
1 draw. Say 1 draw. We go and play Man City, and then we lose to Man City, maybe because they were superior. That would have been, you'd have termed it as a good season so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we are at this point where we are. You saying that Amorim is not making good use of the situation based on measuring the failure as a result of not being given a midfielder is like you're saying the fact that he's not being given a midfielder means he's not playing with what he has. But he's actually playing with what he has.
And he's not coming to good effects. I feel like...
So that's the question. That's why I asked you that question. I don't know why I asked you that question today. Yeah. And anybody I interview, I'm going to ask that question. What could he have done differently?
See, I feel like I said earlier, it's not the formation, it's the tactics. You have mentioned a solution of playing Bruno in calm and having him drop deep, helping the midfield and everything. That's something. Yeah. I feel like as much as he's not willing to abandon his philosophy, his formation and everything, there are there's just tactical things that you can do. I'm not the most tactical inclined. It seems like you're very tactically inclined. I'm more of like a surface level person. I watch the game as a whole, and then I listen to people like you that are tactically inclined. And what I see here is that we are not good in build-up.
Okay.
We're not. Let's be real. Like we say,
so what I can say to counter the build-up situation. Yeah, we are not that we're not good in build-up. We are predictable in build-up. So we need to be more versatile in build-up. I'll tell you an example. If we want to start playing from the back, the goalkeeper has the ball. Who do we give first? 2 people. The centre back or the deep line playmaker. If we don't give, and if we give the centre back, who does he give? Euro. That's his first outlet. He won't give Shaw because first he's a right footer and you're giving the ball to his right foot. He's already facing left, so he'll just switch it to Euro. You give Bruno the same thing. He gets the ball. He either switches it to Ahmad or he gives it to Euro. If he's a deep line, let's say for example, the league pushes up, Bruno comes and receives the ball. The first thing, because he's right-footed, is to right side, right? So it's predictable. Yeah. How can you stop that? Follow Bruno. Once he receives the ball and tries to quickly pass to Euro, you've already blocked Euro. And while you're blocking Euro, you're setting someone to block the passing lane. These 3 players I've mentioned are the 3 attacking players that you have, for example, in Man City. Foden follows Euro. Foden follows Bruno. Doku follows Euro. Then Haaland comes and blocks the passing lane. How would they not press us? That is how Haaland scored that goal.
Exactly.
So that's the thing. So we are It's not that we're not good in the build-up. We have seen several times Man United play out from the back, multiple times under Amorim, but we are very predictable in the build-up.
So that's not the thing. Why hasn't Amorim changed the way that we build up? Like why haven't you making it?
That's why I said, and I'll still make this excuse. That's why I said he needed a player that can carry the ball. Now, one of the ways you can make it less predictable is that your goalkeeper has to be good with his feet. So, Baender at one point would take the ball and switch it. So you pass the ball to Bruno or to the league passes ball back to Baender. He switches it to Shaw because he's right-footed and he's facing Shaw's side. He switches it to Shaw or switches it to Dogu or plays it long up top. And then what happens? Someone like what's his name? Sesko heads the ball down, like the goal that Mbeumo scored 2-1 against Burnley. It was a hoofed ball that Sesko headed or one of the striker, either Sesko or Xerxes headed, and Dalot got the ball and used his back feet to flick it, and then went on the side and squared for Mbeumo, who was in the box, to score. That was the playing out from the back.
Yeah.
You think about it like that, that's also been unpredictable. But in a situation where you're hoofing that ball in that Man City game, you're hoofing the ball to Ahmad. How? Exactly. So if he had put Bruno there, at least you're sure that you can hoof the ball to him and you get it. Or Bruno will come deep, you hoof the ball to Xerxes, and then you have Dogo on the left. So it's all simple errors like this that I'm saying it's simple, but these are the things I've seen. I don't even need to go and watch one thing I do that always makes it easier for me to analyze the game is that I go and watch the game again. Like I watched the full match again, so I'm seeing things. But my heart was too broken to go and watch the Man City. Yeah. But I could see those things within the game. When I flash back, I'm like, oh yeah, it's true. That's why this happened. That's why that happened. So it all boils down to a whole lot of things. We just need to. I understand your feeling. I understand your opinion. I respect it a lot that you guys, like, you say Amorim out and all that. But he's saying we're a better team. I'm seeing that these are the issues, but that we are playing. Trust me. Don't you think we're better than what we're playing last season?
And there was no getting worse.
Boom.
Than last season.
Yeah. So.
But with that getting better with everything, right? Like, obviously, you see last season, right? And after last season, as much as like we can say that we're better, we need to be better than what we are right now. Look at Tottenham. Tottenham could not even deal with what happened last season, and they won their first trophy in how many years? So
47, I think.
It's like, and it's a European trophy, the first ever European trophy. But guess what? Last season was not even close to good enough. They sacked, and this isn't me saying that we should have sacked Amorim, even if they should have. This isn't me saying that they should have. This is just a whole other thing. They sacked Ange and they brought a manager who has come in and done wonders. Done wonders with players that he has right now. He has signed one or two. He signed Kudus, but a lot of the players that he wanted, he couldn't really get them. Like he wanted Eze, he wanted Savinho, all these guys.
He wanted Mbeumo, he wanted Cunha,
he wanted everybody. He couldn't get them, right? So he has done wonders with the players that he has at Tottenham right now.
I also think he's playing with the same style of play, except for a more defensive, more pragmatic approach and long ball mentality as well.
He's getting results.
The results he needs.
He's getting the results. So I'm looking at what we did last season, and I'm thinking that as much as the goal was to just be better this season, the goal was to be a lot better. And we can say we are better, but can we say we are a lot better? I personally
that one I can agree with you that we're not a lot better this season. The only game where we showed that we were better is against Arsenal. After that, I think the level was just downhill badly. Yeah, I can say that maybe if we had won or drawn that Arsenal game, we would have been on a better footing. But to start the game like that, I think it shocked the players that we started the game so good and we still lost. right? And Arsenal came to finish the job. They knew what they wanted to do and they got the job done and they defended. Same thing with Man City. They finished the job. They thought, okay, maybe they believed that, okay, we get one goal against these guys and it's done. They got the first goal, got the second goal, and then Maguire makes that mistake and they got the third goal. So it's a barrage of issues, like I said, and the truth is, I'm not trying to make an excuse for everybody, but I think it's an overarching issue for everybody involved. That's what I feel. Because one way or another, we could have done better. Manchester United could have done better at the club, but we're here, so we have to make good use of what we have. Trust me. In truth, I'm annoyed that we lost. I'm annoyed that we're losing. I'm annoyed that Amorim is failing. I'm happy that he's stuck to his formation, but I'm annoyed that he's failing at it. So he referenced the other manager. Amorim, Ten Hag was signed as a manager to come and play the Ajax way. And then he came and they asked him, why are you not playing the Ajax way? So you see, the same journalist said, these players can't play the Ajax way. He said, why can't you coach the Ajax way into them? The same journalist. I don't have the right players or right profile of players, because everybody knew he wanted De Ligt. De Ligt is like your Montem Human. Montem Human of Sporting would have been the best profile of player to bring in that will sit beside the defensive midfielder, because he's a ball carrier. He's like your De Jong, carrying the ball, progressing the field, passing, and he might not be the best player on the field, but check it, he always has the most touches in most of his games, right? So we can go on and on and on and talk about this whole this whole Amorim situation, but the truth is, the reason why I'm saying this is I'm backing the manager, believing that he'll turn things around no matter what. And if we sack the manager, I'll back the next one. That's how I feel.
And thank you for that, because I don't know if I have your faith, honestly. I had your faith at one point. Trust me. When I say trust me, I had your faith. God, and it was so blind as well. It didn't matter what Amorim could do, no wrong in my eyes whatsoever.
Do you know why I even back Amorim is because the narratives are they've been switching like crazy, especially with the media. I mean, imagine Jamie Carragher coming out and saying, "Oh, Amorim is still at the job because he's a fine guy." I mean, who says that? Because of his looks and the way he carries himself in press conference. God damn it! It's the same criteria they used to rate Ten Hag. Oh, he does not speak well in press conferences. He lost his cool. Who hires a manager because of how good he is, how good looking he is? Like, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
I'll back him, and I'm backing him because of what Sir Alex Ferguson said. Back your manager even when in the good times and the bad times. And he also said you have to back him till the end. So I backed Ten Hag till the end. I didn't even believe that he was going to be sacked, but I backed him till the end. If I was happy that they allowed him start the season, I wished that they had allowed him finish the season. But then, how worse could we have gotten if we allowed him finish the season? That's number one. Number two, it was good that then Amorim came in so that he can see the players he need to let go, because that struggle we had last season is what we would have been having at the beginning of the season. But we had the struggle last season. We're still having the struggle this season. You're doomed if you do, if you don't. I felt we were cheated. Dave Coote, who was the referee for that West Ham game that made us lose or draw the game 2-2 or something that got Ten Hag sacked. He's no longer a referee. But at the end of the day, Ten Hag was sacked. Okay, you brought Ruud van Nistelrooy. Just allow him to finish the season. Why Amorim just sign a pre-contract deal? Amorim assesses the team. Amorim builds a list of the players he would want, so that when he's coming to Manchester United, he probably would come with those players, and then he will know what he's doing. And then if he's getting Rashford and the other 5 out, you get them out based on the assessment of the last season. Then you fired him, brought a new manager, and then the new manager changed the entire system. Would have used preseason to learn the entire system, will be unpredictable. By the time we come, we'll have a manager bounce at the beginning of the season. First 10 games, Amorim would have gotten like 8 wins. Then when they now start figuring him out like the way they did with Ange, then we can now start saying, okay, now it's not working. Okay, he came November last year, and he can't be fired or he'll be paid £13 million before November 1st. Guys, it's frustrating, but it is what it is.
And on that note, we're going to bring the episode to an end. What do you guys think? Are you guys Amorim in or Amorim out? What do you think that Man United can do to change the situation? And I'm just going to thank you, Pablo, once again for joining. I really appreciate it. And, if you're joining from the United Talks podcast, thank you. And please subscribe to the channel. If you're watching from my channel, go over to the United Talks podcast. We just released an episode on there as well, so you can watch that episode, and please subscribe to his channel. I'm going to leave all his links in the description as well, so you can follow him on social media. He's very active, so follow him on all channels. As you can see, he knows what he's talking about. He knows ball. He knows ball. He's having past me, sir. He's having too much past me. Well, yeah, thank you so much for joining. And with that comes the end of this episode. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm going to try and stay consistent, keep on pushing out episodes, and I just hope to see you guys again next time. Safe.
Cheers.